making a list of things they don't teach you at school. They don't teach you how to love someone. They don't teach you how to be famous. They don't teach you how to be rich or how to be poor. They don't teach you how to walk away from someone you don't love any longer. They don't teach you how to know what's going on in someone else's mind. And they don't teach you what to say to someone who's dying. They don't teach you anything worth knowing, do they? That was a new game. My name is Elie, and I'm a storyteller. The way I see it, books are simply co-workers, storytellers just like me. And the way I see it, people are made of pages. Every one of you has a story of his own that repeats in his own mind deeply every day. And that story makes you what you are. Now there are many things that life will force you to write on your pages. Things you wish you could remove. Things you wish you can erase. But you can't. And there's only one thing you can do. You will die in 3 days. You will live for 3 more days. That was the same message, only different words. You get to pick the words that your story is made of, no matter what happens in your life, and that by itself is amazing. I'll get straight to the point today. I'm not a speaker. I'm a storyteller. And what I'm about to share with you today is 3 stories, random stories, that taught me 3 random things that they don't usually teach you at school. I may start. Story number 1, fire. So there was this old veteran of war. He was telling this story to a writer in order to preserve it. And they reached a point in which he had described the first woman he fell in love with. And so the writer was there and he said, okay, go ahead, describe her. She looked like, how can you make me describe her with words? If until now, I don't know how the hell I felt the first time I saw her. The writer said, you must. It's a story. She cannot be described with words, said the old man. Then he took a deep breath and said, if you're going to force me to use words to describe her, then I will use the least words possible. And you will not ask me again. Go ahead. There are many kinds of fire. Candle fire is light and friendly. Campfire is warm for one night and cold the second day. Coal fire is not much to look at, but underneath is so warm for such a long duration. And wildfire is so beautiful to watch, but from far, far away. Yet did you ever wonder what gets us to lean toward fire? It's not the light it gives, it's not its shape. Those appeals our eyes. It's the warmth. You lean closer and closer to fire for the warmth. Yet you never know when you lean too much. And do you know what fire does? It burns. That is how she looked like. Point. Now imagine that this kind of story was made as a movie. What would she look like? Which actress fits her the most? Angelina Jolie? Penelope Cruz? No. She looked much more beautiful in your mind, didn't she? She looked perfect. That is the difference between books and movies. Slow moments. So there was this guy wearing a nice suit, nice tie, going to his work, was in a hurry, had to take a shortcut, went through a graveyard, no time to lose, fast pace, fast pace. No time to think about this until he saw something on the edge of his eye, and he froze. It was written on a tombstone, Jimmy, 10 minutes. What? The next one, John, 1 hour. George, 3 days. The guy was shot. 1 year, 1 month. He saw the undertaker and he asked him, excuse me, how come all those people want to give that much? And the undertaker smiled. And he said, oh, no, my friend, that is not how long they lived. That is the time in which they were happy in their lives. You came here today. How much time did that take you? 15 minutes? Half an hour? Traffic in Lebanon, 3 hours? Yet when you try to remember that, you will remember it within 1 second. You came here today. Yet the first time someone you love puts his hand on yours and whispers in your ears stupid, childish things that made you stop breathing for a second. How much time did that take? 2 seconds. And when you try to remember it, you will remember it in a pace so slow that it might even last for a lifetime. Slow moments are the most important moments of your life. The irony is that slow moments are not found in places we seek. They're usually found in that 5 minutes break you take from your job and your career. They're usually found in that bench when you're waiting for a bus. They're usually found on that when the red light goes on and you have 2 minutes to wait. And we are in such a hurry these days to the point where we kind of avoid slow moments. We must study so that we can get a job, so that we can get married, so that we can get children, so that we can raise them, so that they can marry us. And we're in such a hurry to do those things to the point where we kind of avoid slow moments. And slow moments are the most important moments of your life. And that is something books teach you. You must know how to recognize your slow moments. Story number 3. That's a personal favorite. So, this is a story written by Neil Gaiman, and it's a conversation between Lucifer and Morpheus, what we know as dream. And it starts with Lucifer speaking, saying, hey Morpheus, I quit. What? I quit. What do you mean? I'm closing hell. What will you do with all the souls in there? Oh, possibly in one way. What will you do? I'm going to go to the beach, build a house, learn how to dance, and how to play piano. Why are you doing that? Honestly, Morpheus, I'm tired. After years and years of torturing people for sins, they always blame me for making it. As if I was sitting on their shoulders, saying, Satan made me do this, Lucifer made me do that. I never force anyone to make any mistake. It's just their own mistake, but they're too afraid to admit it. We tend to blame anything but ourselves for the mistakes we do, because that's something society taught us to do. None of us is willing to accept that his mistakes were totally his own, because none of us is willing to admit that he's a zero. Speaking of zero, there was this book called Zero, the biography of a dangerous idea. It stated that zero was not the number. It's the absence of number. And out of zero came the rest of the numbers. Man is so afraid of things he cannot define to the point where he creates all his logic out of his fear of things like zero. So he built all those equations, those numbers, that logic he has, out of the sphere of zero. Yet whenever you add zero into any equation, he destroys it. Times zero, and he destroys everything. Divided by zero, well, you don't want to go there, do you? Man builds his logic out of his fear. He builds order out of his fear of chaos. Death, zeros, everything he's afraid of. Yet whenever you look at any of the logics of man, you will notice how fragile it is, and how honestly, how many flaws he has. And chaos is always found the most in places where order is thought. And chaos always beats order, because it's more organized. The philosophy of Lucifer, for example, why did he fall? He fell because he didn't want to be ordered around. He fell because he did not accept to submit to weaker creatures than him, humans, in that case. And he fell because he wanted to be free. Yet whenever you think of the ideas that Lucifer presents in his fall, the ideas that he fell for, you will notice that subconsciously you aspire to those ideas. And subconsciously you try to apply them every day. None of you likes to be ordered around. And none of you is willing to submit to weaker individuals. And every one of you wants to be free. In the top 100 comic characters, number 1 was the Joker. Of all those heroes, number 1 was a villain. Why? He's a murderer. He's a lunatic. He has no superpower. He doesn't give a damn about... Wait! He doesn't give a damn about anything. Interesting. He doesn't give a damn about rules. He doesn't give a damn about money, and he's learned a lot of it anyway. He doesn't give a damn about ethics. He doesn't give a damn about all those things you're afraid of. He got every one of those by the horns and made it bite the ground while laughing and screaming. Why so serious? Is because the Joker lets us empty up all that steam of hatred we have toward all those rules and ethics that society is chaining us with. And subconsciously we know that most of those rules and ethics that were supposed to provide us with safety and equality are only making our lives miserable. A clown was in a backstage when it went on burning. He ran to the crowd and he screamed, "The theater is burning!" They looked at him and they clapped. He couldn't believe his eyes. He screamed again, "The theater is burning!" They looked at each other while they were laughing and clapping, and they said, "Damn, he's good." He couldn't believe his eyes. He was on his knees. He was crying. His mask getting destroyed. And he screamed for the last time with all his heart, "The theater is burning. We're all going to die. The theater is burning." And they threw poison. He ended up there on his knees in the middle of that theater, in the middle of a rain of cheers, applause, and coins. That is how we will end one day. By taking every warning and every problem we face as entertainment, and by ignoring it. The last thing I'd like to share with you today is this. Nobody hates reading. If you don't like reading, then you obviously didn't find the right book for you. And when you do find the right book for you, you'll probably end up reading it. And when you start reading it, you will not be able to let it go. It will decide when it will let you go. Reading is like climbing stairs. Every time you read the book, You climb higher. And every time you climb higher and higher, your vision of the world becomes wider and wider, to the point where small things that don't matter much in life, well, you won't see those anymore. Reading is like living a million lives while living your own simultaneously. Now, some say that knowledge is pain. Some say that ending up as reader will make you lonelier. Well, I will not deny that. But saying just that is saying half the truth. And you know what half the truth is. It's a lie. So I'll tell you today the other half. When you become a reader, you become more accustomed to being alone. By doing so, you'll be able to form relationships that are far, far healthier. Because the relationships you will be in will not be the result of your fear of being alone. Instead of being a lamb stuck up with a bunch of lambs, trading your will with the fear of security, you become a wolf. And there are three things wolves are good at. Wolves recognize each other among lambs. And when they do, they form bonds that are far, far stronger than the bonds that lambs can form. Wolves know what they want, and what they want, they hunt it. And wolves, my dears, wolves in society can easily feed on lambs.